and welcome to the Warmness Machine podcast. My name is Lindsay. This is a fiber arts podcast. Airplane. This is a fiber arts podcast, and I'm a crocheter and a knitter and a spinner and a very, very, very beginning weaver. So yeah, welcome. This is an inclusive space. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about record keeping, and I know that might scare a few people off, but I think it's really important if you've been making for a very long time to have a record of it. I have kept records of what I've made. Like, I save a pattern when I finish it and I put it in my yearly patterns finished folder. However, I don't have a picture of it. I don't have a gauge swatch. I don't have notes on it. And so I was kind of feeling like if I ever wanted to make something again and I had a hard time making it, or I had some difficulty, instead of going through that same process of mistakes, wouldn't it be cool if I could just write it down? So, and then also when it comes to spinning, that's very important to me. And I also want to be able to replicate yarns. So let's talk about what I have right now and what I'm going to be transitioning to. So first I'll show you my folder of finished patterns. So this is not a folder of finished patterns, but this is my folder of finished patterns and also random patterns that I wanted to make. So it's all a jumble. This is the Rye Sock Light that I finished. This is the Florence shawl. I finished this, but I never showed anyone this because I gave both of them away. The Snowfall headband by Tressa Wiedenaar. Random notes from my son, and then other things. And so clearly I'm not very organized. This is also this is from a year ago. I did not finish this pattern here because I didn't like the way it fit me. So what's that? That to me is a mess. These folders are just a mess to me. So that's what I'm doing for my patterns when I finish a pattern, whether it be crochet or knitting. What am I doing when I work on spinning? I have this, this little booklet right here called Notes on a Spin that I taped on the side. It's a random notebook that my husband gave me because, you know, we got married. So my partner no more. Now he's official. It's fine. It's more than fine. But I have like notes on how to do my yarn tags, notes on twist angle and wraps per inch, and, you know, gauge and everything. But if we look here, I have on little index cards, I don't know if you can, this is what I'll be spinning next. These are just like samples of singles for socks. And then here I have samples for something that I worked. This was for the some Me Time shawl, which I've yet to begin. But then we have this right here. So why do I not like this? Well, it's not very big. I really like bigger books. It's not spiral bound. It's very difficult to write in. I lose things. My children take things out of it. My daughter has taken a lot of stuff out of here. So what am I trying to move to? That's the question. A binder. This is a binder. It's a used binder. No one's currently using 2005 Best Plus Administrator Guide. So I took out all the papers within, and I plan on using this to hold all my maker notes for the year 2023. I plan on buying cardstock or like hard, you know, the hard paper that's, you know, page size, 11.5 by 8.5, 11 by 12, 8.5. I don't know the sizes, but the letter, US letter. And I don't think you'll be able to see this because it's very small. Let's use the crochet one because I didn't adjust it. So this is my crochet project form that I'm going to be using from now on. It has the, I'll zoom in or like later, but it has the date started, date completed. It also has a code. So if I ever want to like catalog this digitally, I can just put a code and then access it through that code. Why? Because I don't know how long we're going to be using paper in life. Maybe one day we'll decide, no, we're not cutting down any more paper, any more trees to make paper. I don't know. But just in case, I also wanted to catalog it digitally. The pattern name, the yarn, the designer, the item that it's for, item knitted for who, or item crocheted for who, which I should fix. This is not proofread. This is just a rough draft. Hook used, hook used, gauge, the pattern gauge, and then my gauge that I got, and then notes. So there's area for swatch here. There's notes, there's technical issues, what I loved about making it, what I didn't love about making it, or what I hated. And that's going to be for crochet and knitted items. I like this because I can type in it. It's on my computer. I can type it up and print it out while adding the swatch. Or I can write on it. Either one. Either one. And then I have one for spinning, which is 2 pages long, because for spinning there's a lot more notes that you're taking in the beginning about what you're looking for in the yarn and for the project, and also how the fiber was prepared and what fiber is it, where'd you get it from, the colorway, all that stuff. So here we have also something similar, which I'll show you a zoomed in picture of. You have the source. So date started, date completed. Fantastic. Now I can measure how long it takes me to spin for, let's say, socks or for a sweater. So in the future, I can allot that amount of time for that project and know that, okay, if I'm going to spin for socks, how long does it take me to spin this? How long does it take me to make socks? I can compile all that data. And I know you're thinking, why do you need all this data? I'm a process and project knitter, spinner, weaver, crocheter. I like the process, the steps. I like the project, but I really like knowing where I was and where I am now, especially when it comes to knitting. Crocheting is more for fun for me, but knitting, I'm really doing a lot of work learning, even though it's a lot of fun too. But like, I'm trying to learn some skills and know what I'm learning. So I can pick that out and say, oh, for this project, I learned X, Y, and Z. This was difficult, this was easy, but I'm really excited about that. So then at the end of the year, I can look back and say, oh yeah, you did a lot, you know? Because sometimes you think, oh, you only made 6 things, only made 4 items. But really, you learned so much in those 4 or 5 items. And because I'm taking a slower path to making, this is really fun for me. So we have equipment. So we have fiber prep, we have equipment, colorway. I haven't actually added colorway, but I need to put that there. My goals for the spin, my notes on the spin. And then we have, because this is gonna be on more solid paper, I can put in the singles. Like I put the singles in right here. So instead of my singles being on some random form and me just knowing a random index card and me just knowing, oh yeah, this is for the Some Me Time shawl because I know this colorway and I love it. Colorway is called Parched. It's so gorgeous. But then instead of that being randomly wherever, it will be in a binder on the paper. And then we have singles draft. So is it woolen spun? Is it short backward? Is it short forward? Is it unsupported long draft? You know, things like that. Or supported long draft. Is it spun S or Z? How many bumps per inch? How many reps per inch? The yardage and the weight. And then because I have space on the back, I can do a full sample of whatever I knit or spun or whatever. But I'm really excited about this because although I love a good notebook, this is not what this is supposed to be used for. So yeah. Okay. So record keeping, that's my new excitement. Keeping good records, and I'll be sharing that with you in a little bit. But just to give you another example, this is a sock yarn, and I have a sample of it. I don't even know if I have a sample of it in here. It should be though. See? Here it is. And this is 2-ply. So this is just a ply back test. Hope you can see it. This is just a ply back test with 2-ply, but we can see that I have, let's see if I can. So this is the 3-ply and this is the 2-ply. The 2-ply is on my right and the 3-ply is on the left. And we can see that they're different. And that's not in here. And I want to change that. I want to kind of make sure that I have a little swatch of each of my yarns that I'm making for spinning. And it's just that much cooler to me, just that much cooler. So, and then if my children ever want to, I don't know where this is going. Then I also have stuff that I've spun that I have no notes on, that I have notes on, but I have no physical samples, and that just kind of makes me sad. So now let's move into my sock study. So every time I'm here, so I come here once a month and I explain, or lack of explanation, I say, oh, I have this sock study that I'm doing. And I realize that, yes, I have a sock study, but what does that mean? I'm an educator and I'm a lifelong learner. And if I want to take a path towards advancement, I should be putting little pebbles, you know, along the way, milestones. So this month I came up with a sock study guide for myself. And I'm encouraging you to do the same for yourself with anything you want to learn, anything you want to expound upon, expand on. So this is my sock study. It is very basic, so let's just go over it very quickly. Because I have, and again, this is not, I'm not paid to say anything like this. I'm just telling you that I have a subscription to the School of Sweet Georgia. It's asynchronous learning, so it's just like you watch the video. You can also upload to the forums and let people see, and you can talk to people in the forums. I haven't really done any kind of talking to people yet, but also just don't talk to people all the time anyway in my personal real life. So I'm still building up towards it. However, I find these classes online very, very helpful. And I took the cuff down. So the cuff is where your leg is on the sock, and might as well show you on some actual socks. So these are my hand spun socks. They have been worn. They've been blocked and worn. This is the cuff. And so you would start here and work your way down to the toe. And I've taken that class, and now I've started on the next class, which is toe up construction. And I'll share that with you in a minute, my progress on that. However, I've pretty much finished the toe up sock class, but I haven't finished the sock. So yeah, so those two classes were core curriculum for me. And I plan on building within that a few other things. For example, there's I don't know if I'll remember the name of it, but I'll put it down below. It's called the Sock Knitting Bible. It's available online through my library, and I've been accessing that as a reference and just looking at different heel constructions, different toe constructions. There's also a class on heel and toe constructions in the School of Sweet Georgia. It doesn't go very in depth, but I only want to try a few different ones because I actually like the regular toes. I don't need too much modification on that. But I do want to try some new ones. So I haven't done that yet, but that's on my list. So here we have a cuff down sock, and we have a toe up sock. And then my sock study is twofold. It is knitting and it is spinning because I'm spinning to knit socks. So part of my study will use hand spun, and part of my study will use commercial sock yarn. So I have a lot of beginner patterns from Denise of EarthtonesGirl on YouTube, and I'll put a link to her down below. She's fantastic. She has like this whole sock course online, shows you a lot of different things about just making a better sock. I've watched a good number of those videos because in the beginning of making socks, I had the hardest time. I mean, like, I understood nothing. I didn't even know how to knit in the round when I decided to learn how to knit socks, because some people learn to knit just so they can knit socks. And I wouldn't say that was me, but I'm adjacent to that group. So that's me adjacent to that group. So I have 3 of her patterns in my next level of sock learning. One is the No Fear Shorty sock, which wouldn't go all the way up, would kind of stop around here. There's also the Socksploration sock that uses a shadow wrap heel, which I'm very excited to learn. And then there's also one more step, which is inspired by Lord of the Rings. It's like, if I take one last step, I've gone the furthest I've gone from leaving the Shire. So she makes these wonderful beginner sock patterns, and that's what I'll be working on. These I might not use hand spun because I'm probably going to make custom fit socks with my hand spun, because I actually have to just knit a gauge and do all that other stuff with it. So these are my first custom made hand spun socks. They are made with 100% Dorset wool that I got from Akara Yarns, and I'll put a link down below. I'm saying it because she's the one that usually has a lot of Dorset, and I already have some Dorset prepared for another sock spin coming up for me. So I did no kind of color awareness on this. I didn't do it. It came as it was, and I just split it up, split it down the middle, and then made it into 3 bundles, 3 sections of bundles, so that I could spin them up. And I could not be prouder. This sock is a little smaller than this sock, and I don't know why that is. Anyway, I've re-measured my foot, but they still fit great, and I still love them, and they wear so well, and I can't wait to start the next one. And they're like very rugged. And this is like who I am as a person now. This rugged person living in the woods of my mind. Because I don't live in the woods yet. But if I did live in the woods, these would be the socks that I would wear when I woke up in the morning to put hay out for the sheep, or, you know, to go do my morning meditation walk in the woods, where I came upon a fox who was, you know, drinking water at a stream. You know what I mean? Like, these are dream socks. So yeah, this is my finished sock for the month of February. Now, before I go on talking about other socks and things, let me continue with the sock study, because that's checked off. Boom, boom. Okay. But the next step of my spinning is going to be another 3-ply sock yarn, and then 2 4-ply sock yarns, and kind of seeing how the wear and tear on both of those go, depending on the fiber used. So I might actually have to, no, I'm not going to switch up anything, because I don't like to switch things up once I've started doing anything. But again, Dorset used for these, Dorset's going to be used for the next 3-ply. Although I should buy Dorset and make a 4-ply yarn just to see how it goes. But mostly this is me acclimating my fingers to spinning very, very finely. And I hope that that doesn't make me only able to spin fine yarns. I want to be able to spin thick yarn too. So after I go through these beginning sock patterns, I have 2 intermediate sock patterns as kind of like, that's going to be the finishing of my sock study, kind of. And the sock study, hold on, let me make sure I don't have anything else on here. That's something else. But I have the Pebbles and Pathways sock by Hey Brownberry. I saw her do a tutorial on a Turkish cast on for a toe-up sock, and I've never wanted to do anything so much in my life like that. Just looked so cool. So I'm very excited to do that. And then the Hamaris by Foley Ordinaire. The pattern was in French and English. I'm not quite sure where this designer is from. I found it randomly on Ravelry, and it's just been sitting in my bucket waiting for me to purchase it. And I finally decided, yeah, I'm going to purchase it and put it to my sock study. So I have 5 sock patterns that I'm working on for my sock study. And on top of all that, I have some techniques. So at least 1 sock must be knitted on DPNs, and at least 1 sock must have a Dutch heel. I've never done a Dutch heel. This is a slip stitch heel, which I'm very, very fond of. However, I don't need a slip stitch heel on this sock. I don't need a slip stitch heel on handmade socks. The way that I spun this, the way that this yarn is, it's so durable. Like it's such a rugged, well-made sock. If I can pat myself on the back for my spinning technique. So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with these. And I ended up finishing them at a event. I went to a knit night at the library in not in my local area, but in the area. And it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people there. So yeah, socks, handmade. So I don't think for my next hand spun, I'll be using slip stitches on the heel. And if you don't know what slip stitches are on a heel, it's you knit one, you slip the next stitch, you knit one, you slip the next stitch, and when you go to the end of the row, you turn it, and then you just purl all the way back, so that now you reset. But it gives a lot of added padding, so that if it's getting worn and worn and worn, it's not going to wear away. So maybe, but I mean, the way these socks are made, I wish you could feel them. I'm so proud of myself. And you can see that they're sisters. They're not twins. So yeah. So that's what I'm very, very excited about when it comes to my sock study, and kind of formalizing all these things just really, really makes things a lot more fun for me, because again, I'm one of those people that likes to do checks. When I have a to-do list, I always check it off and cross it off. And if I do not get to it, I wiggle line it, because I never made it to it. So it goes on another to-do list. Y'all don't need to know how I'm a little anal. If you would like to see any of these forms or anything, please, I have no problem sharing. That's not my issue. So please just let me know. I'm more than happy. So that will all, but I am going to buy special, really thick kind of paper so that I can staple or hole punch and make sure that I can put this together in catalog. And this will be 2023 makes. And this is not my first finished item from 2023. My daughter's socks are, but they were a holdover. So this is like my true first 2023 sock finish. Now, you probably want to see my toe up sock. So let me go grab it. It's right over there. So I went to the Frederick Fiber Festival last year before that. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. But I found the Crochet Cove, and this is Dancing in the Dark. And I saw it and stopped immediately, purchased it. And I tell you, when I tell you that this is gorgeous. So I'm still doing double pointed needles, I'm still doing magic loop to make socks. Hold on, let me take a sip. Okay, I'm still using magic loop for socks, and I really like it. But I do feel like if I just feel like you should be able to learn, you should be able to know DPN. You'd be able to use DPNs. For crochet, it's only one hook. And I don't know how to do Tunisian crochet yet. But I'm also kind of discouraged from doing Tunisian crochet because of having to buy a whole new set of needles that are $100. So that's down the line. I'm gonna get there, but that's down the line. So DPNs, this magic loop, this is the sock. You're probably wondering, whose sock is this for? This is for my son. If you have kids, make them socks first, because this was a lot of fun. This was starting at here, toe up, I should say. This is Judy's Magic Cast On, which was really cool. We have increases, and then we come to the heel. Now, this is where I would have liked a slip stitch heel, to be quite honest, because I'm a little worried. This is not my favorite heel construction, not because it wasn't cool to make, but because I just worry about its integrity over time, you know? And then and then along the edge, you kind of do these short rows where you do, it's not short rows, but you kind of do this slip knit. And it's kind of loosey-goosey on the side because I never do slip slip knit. SSPs. No, that's slip purl. SSKs. So this isn't my favorite heel because I'm a little worried about it. Also, it's got, I mean, I can't stick my finger through it, obviously, nor would I try. But yeah, so we are to the cuff. This is my son's sock. Look at his foot. Why is it so big? Anyway, he's just a little boy. And now I'm going to the cuff. I have enough yarn. I'm very excited to finish this and start the next one. I think that's the most lovely thing about socks, is that you finish it and then you do another one so that you can perfect your skills. So it gives me an opportunity to really zone in on where I had a few mistakes. And yeah, so this will be finished sooner rather than later. But I have a few projects that are very important to me, and I've been kind of not doing them. So let's talk about that, since I have a little bit of a sock obsession. And when I say a little bit, it's not a little bit. I made a whole chart about what I'm going to be learning with socks. So clearly, this is still the Aztec sweater, and I messed up somewhere in here. And you know, normally when I mess up, it's not a big deal, but I messed up so bad I could not figure it out. So I had to pull back. So I had to rip back a little bit. I'm excited. I had to rip back a little bit. So whatever progress I made from the last time, it's right back to where it was before. This is my month of March make. I really want to finish this because I want to wear it because I think the colors are fantastic. But also, I love the yarn, and whatever yarn is left over. This is Tough Love sock from Sweet Georgia Yarn, and this is really, really good yarn for socks. Compared to, you know, when you have a hand dyer make their sock yarn, it's very pretty. You know, it might last very long. But I don't know if I can show you, but just even the strand, the thickness of this sock yarn versus the thickness of this yarn. Yeah, you'll never be able to see, but I can tell the difference just in like the way it feels. Like, and I don't know. I'm way too enamored with their yarn. I don't want to spend $1 million buying yarn, because I don't want to be, buying yarn is a craft in and of itself, right? Like, we can all purchase more yarn, but can we make everything that we want to make with it? So I want to be a good steward of what I have. And yeah, so that's very important to me. So this will be my piece de resistance of March. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. This will be my mountain for March, I'm very excited. I can't wait to wear it, because soon I won't be able to, but like, I'm very excited. And I can't say anything else because I haven't worked on it at all. Except for that time that I worked on it and messed it up. The second thing that I'll be working on in March, because once I get going on this, I should be fine. But the second thing that I'm going to begin is a long-term project from last year that needs to come to fruition, which will probably be finished in April. But by April, I'll need it. Let me show you. The Some Me Time shawl. I have yarn. And, oh, this guy came out. Don't come out, my guy. Don't come out. Don't come out. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. There we go. I'm in love with this brown. I have a brown problem right now. I think I bought yarn that looks just like this and made a sweater out of it. So now I'm gonna have a shawl the same color out of hand spun. I love this yarn so much. It's so pretty. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's not overspun. It's not overplied. It's made with Polworth and silk. And it is for my Some Me Time shawl, and it is sport weight yarn. And I still don't know how to do any kind of lace knitting at all. So needless to say, this gets a gauge swatch first. And I'll be working on that, just a gauge swatch for the month of March. And then in April, I will be only exclusively, along with making a sock, because I have a very extensive sock study. But along with making a sock, I will just be using this. I don't have very many makes this year. Oh, I'm gonna put this over here. I don't have very many makes this year. A lot of my makes are going to be simple, usable items. Simple, usable items that I think enhance my life, like socks or cardigans for my kids, which I'm going to be purchasing yarn for soon because kids grow, and I'm be making it for, not for now, and not for now. I'm not making it for now. I'm making it for the future. So I want to buy enough yarn for them to grow over the summer, and then as soon as a chill hits the air, they have these beautiful cardigans they can rock out. You know, my kids are dancers. All little children love to move their little bodies, but my son strikes a pose. And my daughter, you know, get the pose going, get the pose. And so when I make them something new, they start striking poses, which is hilarious to me. So what I'm going to be doing is preparing for that, because I've never even knit a cardigan. But I also have no fear. Like, I have no fear about any of this stuff, because, you know, I can tear it out and do it again. I can always start over. You know, I can always, it'll be fine. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about tutorials on how to do X or how to do Y or how to do Z, and you can see different people do it in different ways. And so it's not supposed to be, making is not supposed to be intimidating. It's supposed to be luxurious. So using up my stash, I don't have a very extensive stash, but using up my stash, making things that are usable items, and having a lot of fun. So yeah, getting back into sewing is also a really big goal for me, but that's what I'm into. So let's get into books. Okay, let's try this again. Don't touch it. Okay. I'm gonna say bye-bye again. Okay, ready? Yeah. Okay. So my littlest one woke up from her nap and is my cameraman, right? Don't shake the camera though. Don't shake it. No, don't shake it. Don't shake it. I know. Wait, don't shake. Okay, so this is the end of the episode. Okay, let's say bye-bye. Let's say bye-bye, okay? Look at Mama in the camera. Have a good Have a great day, everybody. No more shaking. No more shaking. Okay, let's hit this button.